up, everybody? Welcome to another first episode of TerrorCrave in 2022. So happy New Year, everybody. Jason, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Happy New Year, man. 2022. Did you ever thunk
I
it?
know.
It's crazy.
I know. It's
I don't
here.
really
Let's
know
hope
what
that
happened to 2021, man.
it was like in the blink of an eye. These
Yeah,
past 2 years actually have been pretty much in
both
the
years.
blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying?
It might
Uh,
not be bad.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they say? Time moves quickly when you're having fun. I don't know if we'd actually say
Um,
that these were
I don't
fun
know.
times.
Although we
But
did, BT Haunts put out a bunch of episodes and stuff, some little short movies. So, if you when
those
your
were fun.
family can't go on vacation, what do? You just make horror movies and episodes. That's what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We try to entertain the masses. We try to make,
Yeah.
it's been tough for you guys out there. So we want to make sure you guys have a little something fun to watch while you're stuck home with the fam. Some
Yeah.
great family home entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But we did have a few pretty decent horror movies and series come out last year, and this year some pretty good ones coming up.
Yeah, man. Yes, we do definitely have some great ones coming out here, which we're very excited about. And that's what we're going to talk about this episode, guys. You know, Jason and I, of course, we love horror films, as you guys know who watch the show. And there's some fantastic ones that are coming out here in 2022. So
Yeah.
what we thought we'd do is take some time, talk about some of the ones that we're most excited about and looking forward to. And to hopefully turn you guys on to some good stuff out there. Because we'll be talking about these too as
Yeah.
they come out as well.
Yeah. What's
Cool, man.
which one are you most looking forward to for 2022?
Well, this one actually that I'm most looking forward to. Well, I guess I'll start with this. I'm gonna go with Nope.
Note.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Nope. You
And what is
guys,
that about?
and what is that about? I do not know.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
not know. But I will tell you it's by Jordan Peele. He has done both. He's only made two movies in the horror genre so far. And first one was Get Out, Oscar nominated film,
Mhm.
followed by Us. Both of those movies were actually Get Out won the Oscar for best
Yeah.
screenplay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was Oscar nominated and an Oscar winning film. And he followed that up with Us, which I thought was also another great one. And they usually they kind of comment on social issues in a way,
Yeah.
a bit, these horror films do. But anyway, all past that, looking into the future, like I said, Nope comes out, I believe, in June
Yeah.
or July, if I'm not mistaken. And that should be really good. Again, I have no idea what it's about,
I hope they
but
keep it that way. I hope they don't tell us anything. And all we've seen is like the poster cover art, and it's just a cloud to me. I think it's something to deal with aliens. I really do.
yeah, I think that's going to be the case as well. Comes out July 22nd. It's got a fantastic cast. Daniel Kaluuya, hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. He was the main star in Get Out. Kaluuya and Kiki Palmer, and then Stephen Yeun from
Mhm.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
got a
cool.
great cast. Looking forward to that. Should be a great movie. And I do, to your point, really hope that they keep it a little on the, that don't give us a whole lot of what
Yeah.
it's about, because I
Kind
think that's the
of.
best way to experience some of these movies that he
Yeah, like
has.
kind of Cloverfieldish. So we're not
Exactly.
quite sure. I like that. I think they should keep it that way, but I doubt they can. You can't keep anything a secret anymore. Some
Yeah,
kind of leak will come out, but it does look good, man. It does look
yeah,
really good.
it
But
does. It does. We've only got 6 months left, and we'll be talking about it. Hopefully, it
yeah,
comes out. Hopefully,
yeah,
it comes out. They're already starting to rearrange some of these movies already. I don't know if you do that or not because of the pandemic,
yeah,
or the ongoing pandemic, as we alluded to here at the beginning of the show. Some of these films have already been pushed, and one of these movies I'll be talking about shortly. Actually, that's on my list.
yeah.
That straddles
I
two genres that I'm a fan of.
Yeah,
We'll,
I'm pretty
we'll
sure
go
I
on.
know which one you're talking about. I can tell you one that I'm
Yep.
looking forward to, and it comes out next month, actually, February, I believe. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's coming straight to Netflix. And I've been excited for it, but then I looked at it, and the director is David Blue Garcia,
Mhm.
and he's directed one other movie, and it was his own film. So now I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. Well, this is a big series or a big name in horror franchise, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like Friday
Yeah.
the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. But with this one, and you're going straight to Netflix with it, it's got a great story. It's taken up where the first one left off. The original back in 74, was that one? 74?
Yep, I believe you're right.
So this takes place right, it's the one that comes right after that one. So forget about part 2, 3, all the rest of them, the remakes, everything. But I was excited until the director, and we may be fooled, but I don't know. It made me a little nervous that this guy, I was expecting somebody that, I don't know. We'll see.
You know what, man? He still could very well do a good job with the film. In my opinion, a lot of these Texas Chainsaw Massacres, it really has nowhere to go but up. You know what I mean? I would say.
Yeah,
so
true.
I mean, it's some of those sequels have hit the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion. I'm sure some of them have a lot of fans. For instance, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it's grown in popularity, I would imagine, since it very first came out. When it first came out, the first direct sequel to the 1974 classic, it was kind of a weird film. Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this one looks good. Again, this
not
is
as bad as the third one.
No, the third one was bad.
Yeah.
But this is, again, I've talked about this in previous episodes. This is the second time where they've said, oh, they've scratched all the other sequels that came out, and they gave a direct sequel, Leatherface 3D, which came out, I guess, almost 9 years ago. They've tried to do that same thing. They were a direct sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then now this is also going to be none of those other films, even Leatherface 3D, and then
or Texas Chainsaw. That one was called.
Was it? I thought it was Leatherface 3D or Texas Chainsaw 3D.
I think it was just called Texas Chainsaw. I went to see that when it was in 3D. It was real 3D or whatever. That's the one where the daughter of the sister inherits the house or whatever.
Daddario.
Yeah. I think it's just called Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, okay. Well, then I stand corrected. So
because there was one that came out called Leatherface.
There was. You're right. Yeah. And that one came out. That had Stephen Dorff and Lily Taylor in it.
Right. And that was totally
that was a prequel that talked about exactly how he became how he became Leatherface.
Yeah. That was a decent movie. They've all been okay. I didn't like the original part 2 or part 3, but I did like the remake, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
those are good.
And the one that came after that one, which was a prequel to that movie. But they've all been pretty good, and this one will probably be decent as far as you can't really go wrong with Leatherface. You know what I mean? Just have him kill some people with a chainsaw. We'll be happy. But it's got the chance to be a really good movie. All of these do when they come out. The remakes, when they come out, they've got a chance to be really good. And a lot of them, it just doesn't happen, man. Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that. But anyway,
so that was coming out. We're looking forward to that as well. Another one that I'm excited about, man, which actually was supposed to have come out this month and then got pushed back to June. This is the Black Phone. I'm very excited about this one. It's got a great team behind it. Scott Derrickson, who of course did the Sinister, the first Sinister with Ethan Hawke. He's reteaming with Ethan Hawke in this one. It's also written based on a short story by Joe Hill. And for all of you guys who don't know, Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King, who also does a great show on Netflix he did a great series of graphic novels that Lock and Key is based upon. The Netflix show.
Really?
So
good.
It's got a great team behind it, man. Scott Derrickson, Ethan Hawke, Joe Hill. And it's takes place in the 70s in Colorado, about this serial killer known as the Grabber, who Ethan Hawke is playing. And then he's holding this little boy, and while the little boy is in the soundproof basement, he starts to get these phone calls from other kids who have been murdered in there as well, and they're trying to help him escape. And it just seems like the mask that he's wearing. It just
the mask is awesome.
Yes, it is. It is. And anyway, it looks terrifying. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. And I think that'll be worth the wait, though. I think it'll be worth the wait. It looks really good. And I like that they're pairing together again. Sinister films were so good. So I think this will be good. I think it'll be good. Another one that's kind of high on my list to see this year is Salem's Lot. So
Mm.
they're redoing that, and
Mm.
this is directed by Gary Darberman. He hasn't directed a whole lot, but you know who he is because he did the Annabelle franchise screenplays, wrote those.
Oh.
Also, he did the screenplays for It Chapter 2,
Mm.
The Nun. So he's got good experience, and I think this is going to be real good. I think that Salem's Lot. I loved the old Salem Lot. That, you know, when we were, I guess,
Mm.
teenagers, Salem's Lot came out, and it was just a mini series on TV.
Teenagers.
And yeah, I meant
Teenage.
in our 30s.
No,
No, it was
it came out in
this.
1979, man.
Oh my gosh, we were kids.
Yeah.
I was just a baby. I don't know. Lee was about 12.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they came out. That
Wow,
came out in
79.
1979 miniseries. Yeah, starting old David Soul,
Yeah,
Starsky and Hutch, Starsky and
that's
Hutch.
insane, man.
Yeah,
I
no,
really
I
feel
think it's
old now.
no, I think this is going to be good. This is actually Salem's Lot is one of Stephen King's favorite stories, that he's ever written.
Hmm.
And the miniseries was good. I mean, there's some classic. I
Yeah,
remember being scared of that, hearing the
yeah,
stories about it before I even saw it as a kid. My family, my aunts and uncles and them, they were huge horror fans, right? So they would always see these horror movies and then try to tell us kids about them and scare us to death, scare me to death at least.
yeah.
And so I remember hearing the stories about boys scratching on the window, come and
That
play,
was
or,
a great scene, man.
you know.
Still, I mean, I can see that in my head. It's a great scene. Scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some good stuff in there. There was a remake. We probably mentioned this a couple weeks ago. It was a remake that was on TNT in the early 2000s with Rob Lowe. I remember watching that actually.
Yeah,
And but this is going to be, I think to get the big screen treatment, Salem's Lot, which is shockingly enough, it's never had. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's never been on the big screen. So this should be really, really good.
yeah. I started watching The Stand. I know that came out a
Oh,
couple of years ago or whatever.
no, just a year
But
ago. Just a year
yeah,
ago.
I started watching it, and I haven't finished it yet, but I like the old one better. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I like the old one better. I don't know why. Mayhaps. We'll see.
Interesting.
Maybe it'll get
Interesting.
better.
How far are you into it? Because I think it's a 10
Just a
episode
couple
series.
episodes. Just a couple
Okay.
episodes. Yeah.
Interesting. That is okay. All right. Just I don't want to go too far off topic, but what was it about it that you just didn't?
I don't know. Maybe like maybe it'll get better. Like when I first heard about they were remaking it, I was kind of mad. Because I love Tim Curry and I love the original Pennywise. So maybe I haven't given enough time yet. So we'll see.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm just getting old and grumpy. That's all.
Back in my day,
Yeah,
they
back
made
in my day. Yeah, that's right.
oh no. Well, another good movie that I'm excited about is Scream. And that actually should be coming out here in the next few weeks, unless that gets pushed back.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, that's going to be good. It takes place 25 years after the events of the first film. The reviews so far have been really awesome. They've been some great reviews about it so far. So that's great. It keeps you guessing. The good thing about Scream is also it's a good whodunit. Also, you know what I mean? And that it should just be really exciting to see. And I just love the characters that Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson created 25 years ago, I guess. And
I like that they're keeping them in it. They're bringing in some new faces too. But I like how they keep the original cast who's left alive anyway, still in it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, so that's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it still comes out in January.
I think so. I think it will. Now that's a theater thing, or is that coming out on like a HBO Max thing? Or
no, that is going to be the theater in theaters. That's why I'm hoping it doesn't get pushed back.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Because it's going to be on theaters, and like I said, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, another one that I don't know if you'll like it, but I can't wait to see it. Terrifier 2, and that's with Art the Clown. And I don't know if you've seen those yet. I think we've talked about them one time.
I have not.
The Terrifier. There was
Are there already 2 of them?
This is no part 2 never came out yet. It was supposed to come out last year, and it got pushed to this year. They still, I don't think, have like a release date I thought they said something about around springtime, but that started out as was a movie called All Hallows Eve, and I think there's two of those, and that was kind of like a found footage type thing. Somebody found a video cassette, and it would show, you know, different little stories or whatever had happened. And Art the Clown was in one of those little mini things during the movie, and he was so popular and scary, they made it their own movie for him, and Art the Clown, and it was called Terrifier, and that was a gory, scary movie. Really gory. I mean, he makes Pennywise look like, you know, Bozo the Clown or something, Ronald McDonald.
Wow.
Who knows? But so this is, and he gets killed. Well, I don't want to say too much. And
Spoiler.
no, so well, there's
I
a
haven't
part
seen
two.
these movies.
So there's a part two. So
well, I guess you know what though? I say spoiler, but what hasn't Jason been killed in every Friday the 13th movie at the end, by the way? Yeah,
yep.
So
you can't stop him. Can't stop him. But I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be a good movie, man. If it's as good and gory as the last one, like the last one, even I was like, oh man, that's
wow.
rough.
But I don't know if I'm gonna know. If you were like that, then gosh knows how
good gory kills, man.
Terrible, just terrible. Well, that's awesome. Well, that's going to be good. Another great one that we look forward to is going to be Evil Dead. Yep. That is another good one that's coming out here. That's going to be on HBO Max. Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
It's actually the 5th installment of the Evil Dead franchise.
No Ash.
No Ash in it.
Yeah.
So, but I believe it's going to be it's not. It's going to act. You know, skipping over that one that came out in 2013, that soft reboot did. Which I thought was really terrifying.
Yeah, really good.
Really scary flick. But this one looks good. It's going to be in a different setting. It takes place in the city, in an apartment building. You know, and it's not known whether or not it's going to reference Ash. I think it will. My guess is it's going to reference the events of the other Evil Dead.
I think so. I mean, it's got the Necronomicon in it, so it's got to be.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's what two girls find the Necronomicon, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, it's about a girl who comes to visit her sister, raising three, and that sister's raising 3 kids in some type of LA apartment building. That's what I'm saying. You know, every Evil Dead except for not Army of the Dead.
Army of Darkness.
Oh my gosh. Army of Darkness took place in the cabin in the woods. You know what I mean? Yeah. All of them did. Yeah. You know, part 1, part 2, which actually part 2 was almost like just a bigger budget retread of part 1.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but you know.
Yeah. And so Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, and then like I said, Army of Darkness takes place off world basically in some other universe or something. Yeah. And then the reboot took place in the cabin. Now this will take place in the city. So I think it's going to add an different aspect to it.
I think so. I just hope it doesn't go Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Hey, have you what about James Wan's Archive 81 on Netflix? It's a series, right? I don't think it's a movie. It's a series, right?
It is a series, and I believe it comes out very soon, like this
month. January 14th.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I like James Wan. This looks kind of it looks kind of creepy, so I'm gonna check it out. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I don't know too much about that one, but I'm aware of it. And James Wan has made a huge splash over the past few years, obviously. I mean, he just did the most recent one, Malignant, that we did a show about.
Yeah.
You know, back in September. So, and he's obviously behind the Saw franchise as well, and the Conjuring.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one, they say that it's got a taste of Stranger Things or even It, because it takes place in the early 80s. So it's like a found footage thing, early 80s or whatever, but it looks like it's actually a movie that they find found footage, and you know what I mean? Not all found footage. So it looks pretty good though. I'll check it out. It looks good.
All right, dude. Yeah, well, you know, like I said, can't go wrong with that. We'll be obviously talking about that too if it's a series, and we'll be watching that and talking about it as it moves forward.
Yeah, yeah. There's
another one I was about to, not to cut you off, but another one that I'm excited about is the Jeepers Creepers.
Reborn.
This is Jeepers Creepers Reborn, indeed. So you know, I've liked the Jeepers Creepers movies. I have, except for part 3, I guess. I thought that was a little not as good as the first 2.
Is that
I thought
like
the first
a
2 were good
prequel
movies.
almost?
No, I think that 3 takes place.
2 was the prequel. right?
No, 2 wasn't really a prequel. 2 actually took place after. They've all been. There's been no
Oh, right
prequels.
after each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Actually, I think if I'm not mistaken here, it's been a bit since I've seen them. We have part 1 with the brother and sister, going to visit whoever, and then the guy, which always makes me wonder where the Jeepers Creepers guy got his personalized license plate from. But anyway,
He's been around for a while.
you know,
Yeah.
what DMV did he go to get that from? Anyway, I
I don't
digress.
know. Especially the way it was written anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got that. But then part 2 took place, I think it was the very next day of that. And then part 3 actually took place right after
23
the
years later, right?
one. No. Part 3 took place right after part 1 also. So all these movies are part 1 happens, and then part 2 and part 3 are almost kind of happening simultaneously. Different
Okay.
thing. Or it's kind of hard to explain, but you know what I mean? Part 3 takes place right after he gets the boy from the sheriff's, because he comes and takes that boy and takes him to the sheriff, from the sheriff's office, which was just wild. He broke into that like the Terminator,
Yeah, he don't
and took
care.
all those guys out. No, not at all. And then part 3 takes place right after that. But then part 2 is like maybe a day or 2, who knows? But it's all these movies are taking place within a couple days.
Okay. All
But
right.
now at the end of part 3 or part 2, one of them, now it's been a while, they actually do go and say 23 years later, and they have him hanging in a barn or something like that, and they've been waiting to wake up. I think it's part 2. I think it's part 2 that ends that way. It says 23 years later, and then wait, because he comes out every 23 years or something like that.
Yeah, every 23 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, I do like. I think it's going to be good. Seems like it's got a good story behind it. And Jeepers Creepers Reborn, man, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I like it. I saw another one, an Untitled Pet Cemetery project that they're working on for 2022.
Now that's a prequel.
That's a prequel.
That is a yes, I do know that. I have heard about that, and I'm sure that's a prequel to that. I think it's actually going to tell the story. What's his name? Judd.
Judd.
What was the older man's name?
Judd.
Okay. Judd, who was played by Herman Munster in the first Fred Gwynn, and played by John. Was he played by John Lithgow in the second movie, or in
the remake?
In the remake, yeah.
So, which he did a decent job too, but you can't.
He did.
Can't beat
Gwynn.
Yeah.
Now this, I believe, is telling the story about Judd and how he encountered the pet cemetery.
Oh, it's all the way back to with his dog and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's the story.
That'll be good.
But yeah, I believe that's what the deal is on that. So I think that's going to be good stuff. You can't go wrong. I was about to utter the words, you can't go wrong with the Stephen King movie or a Stephen King story. And then I realized you could go way wrong. Look at the story.
Yeah,
there's been many a Stephen King movie that has gone way wrong. So I'm so glad I got out of those. But lately, they've been focus on Stephen King. They've all been pretty good in my opinion.
Well, and they're remaking Firestarter too. I think that's supposed to come out this year too. So we'll see about that. I know Stephen King really liked that one. He liked Drew Barrymore playing her.
Yes, he did. He thought that was a good casting for that.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. We'll see. That movie wasn't too bad. The original.
No, that one wasn't bad. But then you get into like the other stuff, like what's it one? The Graveyard Shift.
Oh yeah.
With the giant rats or something like that, or the Mangler with the cleaning or washing machine or whatever that thing was. That was.
Well, he has some that are just classics, Cujo and Carrie and stuff like that, and then some of them, like the Tommy Knockers, the Langoliers. Some of them are just.
I would actually say the Tommy Knockers and Langoliers. Those to me, that's when ABC was knocking out those Stephen King movies once a year. That was along that same run as The Stand and It. They were doing those miniseries. So not to but I would go against you on that one a little bit and say those miniseries that they gave on Stephen King on the ABC ones, I thought those were really good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you get to, like I said before, the Graveyard Shifts, the Mangler. I had one on the tip of my tongue that I was going to mention. Oh gosh, that just wasn't
Oh,
any good. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's escaping me, man. It'll come back to me. But they were just, oh yes, the one that Stephen King himself directed, Maximum Overdrive.
hey man, that had like the best soundtrack in the world, man. Like
You
every
like
song was
that?
AC/DC. Every song.
It was, and maybe when it first came out, but it's not a good movie.
No, it's
I
not.
don't think it's a good movie.
No.
And I think he actually talked about how he was coked out of his mind when he was, directing or
That's
whatever.
why
And it
he
was
was at the
just,
ATM at the beginning of the movie.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd
I started Emilio
like see him
Estevez.
try
What
to
Emilio
remake that.
Estevez
Yeah, yeah. That's the only reason I
first
really want.
role.
Well, Stephen King, but Emilio
Yeah.
Estevez was in it, so I wanted to check it out. But yeah,
Yeah. They
not a great
redid
movie.
that one a few years ago again on TNT. I believe it was called Trucks, which is
Really?
which is what the short story I believe is called.
Just called
Is actually
Trucks?
called Trucks. Yeah. So I'm really wrong about that. But I think that's what it was, and I know that's what the movie was called. Um,
Was that when he was under a pseudonym, or was that a Stephen King story, or was that
oh
Richard
no, it's a
Bachman?
short story by Stephen King.
Okay.
It was collected in his 1978 collection Night Shift. Didn't he do a night? Yeah, published a
Yeah.
Night Shift in 1978, and it was called Trucks.
Okay. Hmm.
I just had our crack staff do a quick research on that for us, Jason. So it just, it
Well,
just came out.
it was the 80s, so they had to give it a good name, Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. So no, so that's that. Yeah, but first published in June of 1970. But anyway,
Hmm.
so Max, there's no remake of that coming out. Sorry, guys, we just wanted to talk about that for a hot second.
No, 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 no.
That's
But
not coming out in 2022. Don't be confused.
and the Monsters that's coming out this year, but we don't know if that'll be horror or not. But it's Rob Zombie, so
You
we have
know,
to mention that.
I gotta say that to me, I'm still they're doing a good job of keeping that under wraps as to what type of tone it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it going to be, I think it'll be like which will be a first for him, but like
Adam's
Tim
Family.
Burton-esque.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it
No.
being, Adam's Family-esque. I mean, more like maybe it will be, but that was even more toward like that's PG. I don't think that's PG-13. When that movie came out, I'm thinking more along the line of a harder Tim Burton-esque hard
You mean
PG-13
like
film.
Sweeney Todd or something like that he did?
Yeah,
Something.
but with more little humor in it, because it was a
Yeah.
comedy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I think it'd be just more of a horror comedy than what Adam's Family is,
Okay.
which is really more of a family
And I'd be fine with
comedy
that.
with some
I'm really
scary
anxious to see
aspects.
how they're going to come out with that one.
Yeah, yeah, it should be a really. I am too, man. I am too, actually. Um, there's another movie coming out that from a long running franchise. It's called Prey, and that's
Yeah.
coming out on Hulu. And this is a prequel talking about the first predator that ever came to Earth, and was hunting a young Indian girl and her tribe. So I think that should be a really good.
Yeah,
I'm really
that'll be
excited
good.
about that. I've liked most of the Predator movies, I would say.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have.
Alien versus Predator, all those.
I actually enjoyed those. I really
Yeah.
did. I know they're not
Yeah.
looked fondly upon. They weren't like critically acclaimed or anything like that. Not all of them. The first one did really well financially. Second one didn't. And the second one is what really was surprising to me, because I think the second one was more. I think the first one was PG-13. The
Yeah.
second one was R. And I
Yeah. I
think
like the second
people
one.
were kind of disappointed. I liked them both, but I think people were very disappointed that the first one wasn't a little bit harder toned. You know what I mean? It was more of a PG-13 flick.
Yeah.
And then the people listened to them, and they came out with a harder one, and then that one flopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought both of them were. I enjoyed both of those. But yeah, I enjoyed the Predator movies. I enjoyed Predator 1, Schwarzenegger, of course, Predator 2
Yeah.
with Danny Glover. And then we had that little bit of the hiatus. Then we did the Alien versus Predator ones, and then they came out
Yeah.
with Predators,
Yeah.
where they took place on the Predator home world, or some place where they were kidnapping humans and taking them to a different planet and hunting them. And then
Yeah,
we
that was
had
cool.
and then we had Predator,
The
The
Predator.
Predator.
That's the newest one, right?
Yep, came out about 3 years ago or so. So it was also
Yeah.
so yeah, but that hasn't really been one that I've really been disappointed in.
No, it's a good series. It'll be a
Yeah.
good movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say Orphan? First Kill that
I have
comes
not
out,
mentioned that yet, but
which is
that
amazing. Can't
yeah,
believe that girl still looks that way, man. Still looks like a kid.
I know. Yeah, that should be really interesting. And I think now is that oh, he said it's called Orphan what? Origins?
First Kill.
First Kill. So I guess that's a prequel, right? This is a prequel.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
so
This
it'll be
is
good.
this tells how she got here from Russia or whatever. She was I guess an orphan in Russia. Somehow ended up here, or that was the story
Gotcha.
anyway, that she came from Russia.
Okay.
So
So this should be good. We'll see what happens,
yeah,
man. We're excited about it. Well, so those are some great ones. Of course, we've got Halloween Ends, the third of this trilogy that's coming
yeah.
out here, obviously to be out next October. That
Hmm.
should be good. We'll see how that wraps up. We've talked about that before. So that, we're excited about that one. We've got the new Hellraiser coming out on Hulu also. Now this is set 4 years after Hellraiser Judgment, which I don't know much about Hellraiser. I fell off with the Hellraiser movies. We talked about that
It was a
before.
lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was a
know
lot
it
of
was
them.
so many.
Yes, so I don't know where this even falls into play here, anything about those stories. But, there's a lot of people out there that love these Hellraiser films. I know you're
Yeah,
one of them, or at least the first couple ones that you
yeah.
saw. And so this should be good too. That's another one that I know is highly, highly anticipated. A lot of people.
Yeah. Well, a lot to look forward to, and that's just the ones that they've talked about already. I'm sure they'll have and well, there's a lot of other ones that'll just come out on like Amazon and places like that too. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it. And there's some
Now,
little series. I hope that they make more of them, like the houses that October built. They've made a second one to that, and I hope they make a third and a fourth. And those are good
it
movies.
very well could. It very well could. Um, and to close out, because I know we're about to wrap up, but I
Yep.
did want to mention one more, man. That was in here, Morbius.
Oh
That
yeah,
is, yeah, that's the movie I referred to in the very beginning here when I said kind of straddles two genres.
yeah,
Obviously, guys, I'm a horror fan, but I'm also a big, superhero comic book fan, Marvel, DC, and this is in the Marvel genre, and it's about the guy Morbius who has he's kind of a living vampire. He's a vampire with none of its weaknesses. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So that was supposed to come out January 2, but that's been pushed back to April 1st now.
yeah. I'm looking
So
forward to that too. I like the superhero movies, especially the Marvel stuff. And that if you look this movie up, it comes up under a horror genre.
it
So,
does.
it may be the first one that steps into the horror genre that, maybe they'll bring some more this way.
Yeah. The rumor is too, which I don't know how much credence there is to it, but we talked about how much we all both enjoyed the new Spider-Man movie
Yeah.
that came out
Oh, it's
the
great.
past few weeks, and how they brought back the former Spider-Man,
Yes.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. The rumor is that they are going to incorporate one of these Spider-Men into
I just heard that they were
at
talking
least a
about they're
small
trying to
film.
get Tobey Maguire to do a fourth
There's
movie in
been
his
so many
franchise.
rumors about that because of everybody was so excited to see them again.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is there was supposed to be a Spider-Man 4 with
Hmm.
Tobey Maguire. And then they scrapped that, and at the last minute, there was a script written and everything, and they were about to film. Anne Hathaway was going to be Black Cat, and then it's kind of funny that she went on to play Catwoman, which is a very
Yeah.
similar type of role in Batman after
Yeah.
that. And then they scrapped Spider-Man 4 and did the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And then they did, they was going to do a whole new trilogy. And then they did part 1, they did part 2. Part 2 didn't do like they wanted to, so they scrapped part 3, and then they did the Tom Holland and made a deal with Marvel to incorporate him into the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah. I'm
Universe.
glad they did.
And,
I am glad they came to an agreement on that. I
yeah,
wish I
and then
wish they would just clear that up altogether. So it looks like they coexist enough to get a movie or
yeah,
two.
so then they're going to do that now, and so the rumor is because this one is they've been so popular now, everybody's wanting to see a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey
Sure.
and the Amazing Spider-Man 3, that those movies that both of them were supposed to do, they never got to do.
So which one do
anyway,
you wish they do if they put Morbius with it?
I like to see Andrew Garfield. I think honestly he portrayed the best Peter Parker Spider-Man combo, in my opinion. I think
Wow.
he made the best one. I know, I do. And I've said that, and I was always in the minority of people when I said that, but now everybody's got this newfound praise for Andrew Garfield again because he did such a great job. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? In this. And so I don't know. I think we'll see in the fact that Sony needs to have a Spider-Man in this universe that they're creating without Spider-Man, with all of his bad guys floating around, Venom and Morbius and Craven, and
Well,
making all these plans. They need a Spider-Man in there. So why
well,
not
you
use
got the
Andrew Garfield as
Spider-Verse,
that?
so they could go with all of them again. It
Yeah,
wouldn't matter.
exactly. Yeah, so all good stuff, man. Really
Yep.
excited about a lot of great things here coming out in 2022. And we are very excited actually to bring you some great shows also here in the next, well, here in the whole year. But
Yep.
the next few weeks, be on the lookout because we've got some great shows planned. We're going to talk about some of our favorite horror directors.
Yeah.
Jason and I are going to share those with you. We're going to talk about some of our favorite reboots, horror reboots that have come
Yep.
out, and then we'll also talk about some of our least favorite reboots that have come
There's a
out.
few of them.
Yeah, there's a few. So we're going to be sharing some great stuff with you. We're going to be reviewing some also, of course, as these movies come out that we just talked about that we're anxiously awaiting. We'll be giving you our sharing our reviews with you on those, as
Yep.
well as a couple other ones that we've caught up here that we've come across recently that have come out that, you know, a lot of great things we'll be talking about here over the next few
Yeah.
months. So guys, please stick with us. We really appreciate you guys watching us. You know, our views are growing all the time. So we appreciate it. And all
Yeah.
we ask is that you like, you know, like us, share us, comment on us, comment on stuff you want to see. We'll be more than happy to incorporate any of those ideas into the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got plenty more stuff coming from BT Haunts, some more little short movies coming out, and maybe a couple of on location investigations at some places that Lee's not going to like to go.
Oh, there you go. So aren't you excited? I am, as you can tell. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, listen again. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you guys have, you know, had a fantastic few weeks here in the Virginia area. For those who are still in school who are watching us, you got an extra week of holiday break.
Yeah.
You know, here in Virginia, we've had a major snowstorm, or major for Virginia, I guess.
Yeah.
And and all those who are without power too, I hope you stayed warm and had the ability to stay warm and be able to just stay safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's all, Lee. Until next time, man.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. You guys have a great day.